Hey everybody, it's Mike again, and today I'm going to show you this crazy content machine that I've created using make.com, data for SEO, and this started because, as a solopreneur, spending $200 a month for these SEO tools gets very, very expensive, and where I got this idea from was from SEMrush. So you see in SEMrush here, they actually have this content machine, where you can search for something like window blinds. And then when you open this, you get all these great questions, and these are great, to create your blog. These are a great FAQ to have on your blog, and it's like the problem is SEMrush alone is $140. And then to get this topic research, this actually costs money. Um, as when you get it, you have 3 free searches, but then after that, it's $60 a month for their marketing guru plan or whatever it is. And so I decided to use data for SEO and use their content machine, because they actually have a content generator that generates subtopics. And if we go to the overview here, so you can see that their content generator is based on a sophisticated NLP model, which can generate unique blah, 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 blah. And it gives you all these really cool things you can do. Not only is this a keyword generator or an SEO type thing, but you can actually create subtopics. And that's basically what this does. It takes your initial keyword, creates subtopics, and then we get these questions. And so what this scenario does is it starts with your spreadsheet, it generates your first subtopic, and then it creates a new spreadsheet, which basically, so if we go here, so like here's my first thing was home decor accents. And then this is the content that it created for me. Now, as you can see, there is 213 blog posts now that I can write about home decor. I mean, obviously I can change this to 2025, so it's current. I actually think I pulled this last year, but so it'll create your initial subtopics, and then based on those subtopics, it'll create more topics. And then what I'll do is I'll have it go and pull all the people also asked. So like when you go to Google and you get this right here, people also ask. And if you click on the first one, it then loads more. You click on it again, it loads more. You click on it again, and it just it keeps adding more and more and more, which these are all really good for SEO because this is like the main thing people are asking about. So that's why using this is what the main thing people are asking about. And I have so there's 90 basically FAQs we can make. And once again, I mean, this could be like your pillar content, and then you have your subtopics based on that content. Then we have the FAQ for that content. And then once again, we can just change all the dates to 2025, to make it current, or you can be an animal and make it 2026, stay on top of the SEO. But that's the long and short of what this monstrosity does. Now, if you're really insane, like me, I actually have this version, which it even says tons of posts. So this is basically the same thing, but what I did is all of these got doubled. So then what it would do is take these initial 200 posts and create another 200. So if running this once using this method gives me 200, then the super machine here would probably give me 2,000 posts. Now you could sell this as a service. You could, I mean, people are always looking for blog posts. And then, like I said, here's 200 blog posts you could give somebody. So, I mean, you can easily find a way to make money with this. And the reason I'm using data for SEO is because it's incredibly cheap and easy to use. I mean, I still have $47 sitting here. I mean, I did a lot of testing on this day and I think I spent maybe $1. And then I was doing some work the other day and I spent 83 cents. But most of the time, though, it's pennies or less than pennies to use this. I mean, even if I go to usage and keyword data, I mean, see, that was 7 cents. SERP data, I think I did some searching with that. So you can see this costs less than a penny. It costs 0.002 cents to run all this. Every single one of these 0.02, 0.02. I mean, it's nothing. I mean, I spent 7 cents this one day doing all these searches. Now, if you want to get a data for SEO account, I will leave my link in the description. It'll give you $1, but like I just showed you, it doesn't cost you anything. But I will mention though that you do need to sign up with a branded domain. You don't want to you can't sign up with like a Gmail account or a free email. So it's, you should have a branded domain. If you don't have one, it costs, $12 a year to get a domain plus an email. I mean, if we go to my favorite Namecheap, if you go to domains, get a .com for $6.49. I'll even link a description for you too. And get a business email. You start with the starter account. You don't need these big ones. And as you can see, it's 99 cents a month. They even have a coupon code. And I think it renews at $1.50 or something a month, a year. And don't let the name fool you, even though it says Namecheap. The reason I like Namecheap, I used GoDaddy for probably 15 years, but I hated their customer service with a passion. You never got answers. Namecheap just has never let me down. So like I said, you get a domain, it costs you $9 a month, $6 a month your first year. So, that's what, $18 for the first year and probably going to be like $20, $30 for the next year. That's for a year, so you should have a real email by now. But yeah, you need a branded domain to sign up. They'll give you $1 when you use my link. And then you have to put a minimum of $50 in if you run out of that $1. But like I said, I've been using this. I haven't been using it much lately. I was actually sick most of that week. But even if I go back, you can see it's just 3 cents, 2 cents. 3 cents, 2 cents. This is just a lot of testing I did. I did a lot of testing the other day. But even on a heavy use day, 25 cents. So this is worth it compared to using this. And I'm going to make more videos on using data for SEO. I think it's absolutely amazing. They have all these APIs you can call. Plus, they do have a great AI assistant, which unfortunately, I don't have my data. I'm on my other computer. But if you go up here to request helper, you can just literally type in, I want to run, this API. How do I do this? And it gives you all the information. So that's really cool. So anyways, back to this. So what does this do again? So we're going to create a whole bunch of content. So I actually started a new one, but let's just go ahead and do digital cameras. And I'm used to my Mac. And let's just put this in here just so I can show you guys. So I have digital camera set up in here. So if we go ahead and run this, sure it's all set up correctly. So if I run this, it should show digital cameras. So as you can see, digital cameras comes up. And then what this is going to do is first we're going to generate our subtopics. So that's using the content generator live. We're going to post it, and then all we're going to send it is the topic for the keyword. And then all we're going to do is send the topic for the keyword. And then this here is going to actually set the variable for those subtopics. We are then going to iterate them. And then of course I need to create the file. So it's going to take the language, the location, the status, the value. And then we are going to add a new spreadsheet based on the keyword. So once again, if you see this, I have home decor accents. And then down here at the bottom, I have a new spreadsheet called home decor accents. We are then going to post everything in bulk using an API call, using these variables, which I showed in another video. And then of course, I'm going to update my initial sheet showing it's done. And the problem here is that I have a new spreadsheet, but it's not going to be able to find the spreadsheet when we go to the second row here. So what I'm doing is creating a variable, which is the new spreadsheet name, which is pulling from this one here, the new spreadsheet. So when it comes to the second row here, I'm going to pull that new spreadsheet name, which then when we search here, here's our new sheet name. And of course, it's going to look for pending. It's going to pull those. And then we do have to aggregate and then iterate. And then we create a new batch of subtopics, which once again will create this section based on this first keyword. But then it's going to go to this keyword, this keyword. It's going to do all of these individually and pull all of these subtopics based off of that word. And then of course it's going to iterate, it's going to create the file, it's going to update the spreadsheet. And then the bottom row here, once again, we'll pull the sheet name, we'll get the Google Sheet. Then we're going to use the people ask. So this is using the DataForSEO API again. And we're actually wanting people also ask. So that's when I showed you the other thing. And this number can be between 1 and 4. I always set it to the max. You will get duplicates doing this. And I'll show you how to clean those duplicates up in the spreadsheet. I think originally this was like 250, 60 total posts, but there was a lot of duplicates, so we had to delete those. And then of course we iterate those, and then I have my filter here, because if we go to type, so you can see up here it says type and it says related searches, but I only want the ones that say people also ask. So then it has to find those and it'll only pass those. And then of course we'll iterate those. We'll create our Google string to send to our API call, which as you can see, I have the title, empty string, empty string, empty string, people also ask. And then I have the subtopic. So once again, if we go to the spreadsheet, you can see it adds people also ask. Here's the original like pillar content. And then here's the questions people asked based off of this here. These are the questions. So once again, we can just change all these to 25. Or if you want to be crazy, change it to 26. But then it just keeps going through that list. And then obviously we make an API call and we send all the text. Now making these API calls will save us thousands of operations. I mean, once again, this is not, if you're worried about operation costs, this is probably not for you. I mean, if I go back here, I mean, you can see this costs 113, 125, 125, 180, depending on how many keywords, it's not always going to give you 10. I mean, it happened to give me 10 on most of these, but some of them will have more or less than 10. Like that one has 13. So it gave me 13, which then also means I got 13, like that one's 15. So I got 15 people also ask questions based off of this statement. So, I mean, this is a very heavy machine and I would only use it, if like you were starting a new blog, or like I said, if you were trying to sell this as a service and say, hey, I can get you, 200 blog posts to start your new blog. then it's probably worth it. But the total cost for like data SEO for this is pennies. I mean, it might cost you 5 cents to run this thing once. And like I said, if you wanted to go crazy and create even more content, this will create, we're basically timesing this by the amount of the original number. So if this gets me 200, this will literally get me almost 2,000 blog posts. And like I said, all it is I just took this here and duplicated it again, but I'm running it to run all of them. So you can see the limit's 200, because what I'm pulling is all of these to create more subtopics, and then to create more people also ask. So once again, this is going to cost you, a few 500-600 operations to run. So, but if you're selling this and making money, then awesome for you. So let's get into the nitty gritty on this, and let me show you how to build it. Okay, so before we get started, you will need a make.com account. If you use my link below, you'll actually get a pro plan account and 10,000 operations for your first 30 days, which is really cool. So if you really want to test it out, if you sign up normally, you only get 1,000 operations. So if you really wanted to try this out, you get that. You will need a DataForSEO account. If you use my link, you'll get $1 to start. Don't worry, that lasts forever. You will need a business email, though, to set up a DataForSEO account. You can't use a free account like Google or Hotmail. You can try to sign up, but they want professional people using this. So yeah. And then of course you need Google Sheets, which is free. You could use Airtable or any type of other database, but I wanted to show the free method because once again, I mean, this costs me, we'll just say $10 a month for all this. Well, actually the business email, that's another couple dollars a month. So, I mean, this whole thing costs probably, 10, we'll just say couple dollars, $15 a month, as opposed to having SEMrush, which costs $139 a month or something like that. So this is definitely the easiest way to get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is start a new scenario. And then, of course, I always name my scenarios. So let's just call this a content machine. YouTube, so I know which one I'm working on. And then, of course, you're going to need a Google spreadsheet account. And so all I did was create here was a new spreadsheet called Content Machine. And then I have keyword, language, status, because with DataForSEO, you need these this information. You can change these to other languages and locations, but of course, I'm just going to make it easy by using English and United States. And then, of course, I have a status where it's actually going to pull what I want. So it's not going to just keep pulling every keyword and just run this forever, because I want it to run just the ones that are pending, not these ones. And then, like I said, all I have is keywords on here. We are going to add more spreadsheets, but for now, that's all we need to set up. And then, of course, you'll just need keywords, which can be anything. I'm using digital cameras on this one just to show you how this works. So now we need to connect to that Google Sheet. So we'll just click on this and then search for Google Sheets, or click on Google Sheets. And then we want to do search rows. And then, of course, you need to make your connection. And then it's from my drive. And then you search your spreadsheets, which this one is Content Machine V2. And then, of course, our sheet name is just keywords. And of course, yes, it contains headers. And so my filter is going to be status. And then I just want it to pull pending. So once again, as you can see here, I have status and pending. Don't care about order, limit, and I only want it to send one at a time. So then we hit save. And just to make sure everything's working, which it always doesn't want to work the first time, so we'll save that. And let's go ahead and run this once. And as you can see, we got digital cameras and all the information that we need. So to create our first line of generation here, we're actually going to do an HTTP request, and we're going to make a request. So this URL is the one that I got from DataForSEO's page. So if we go to generate subtopics, this is the URL that we need. And it's a post method, as you can see. So we're just going to copy this, put the URL in here, and it's going to be a post. And now we do have to change the body type to raw and then content JSON. Now, the way I got that is by basically just using what they did here. So they have content application JSON. And now what you will need to do here, though, is go to advanced settings, and you will have to put your username and password in here. Now, your username will be on your dashboard, or actually your API access. So you will have your login will be your email that you've set up. And when you first sign up, this will be visible for like 3 days. But if you forget it, you can just send it by email. And now, because I don't want to share all my information with you guys, hold on one second. Okay, so after you put your email in there, now I'm just going to copy this from my other one. But in your request content, you need to send basically a JSON file. And then once again, using this, you can see how, so I basically just copied this from here. So just start right there and go to that. And I'm not using the creativity index. You can use that. You can have it be more creative or less creative. The default value is 0.08, which seems to be fine for me. But if you really wanted to change it, you could change it. And then obviously here, it's already set up, but I want to pick the keyword. And a big thing too is don't forget to parse this response. And so that's how this should look. So if we just hit save and save this and run it once, it'll give me all of my initial data, which if we go to data, tasks, 1, result, 1, subtopics. So there are my subtopics. And as you can see, it actually gave me 15. And so that's a good starting point for your blog right there, is just those 15 topics. And now what we need to do, though, is we need to pull just these out of all of this gibberish. Okay, I don't want all this other stuff with it, right? So then what we're going to do is set a variable. So we just go to tools, set variable, and the variable name, we're just going to call it sub topics. You don't have to use underscores and all that stuff. I just like to do that. And then the variable is going to be tasks, result, subtopics. So that's what I actually want right there. So we'll just click that and then hit save. Next thing we need to do is iterate these. So that way it creates a loop basically. So if you just go to flow control and click on iterator, and then the array is going to be the subtopics. And we'll save that. And then the next thing we need to do is create a text aggregator. Keep saying aggravator. So we'll go again here. We'll click on tools. And then if we just search for text aggregator, now your source module going to be the iterator, going to be this. And then we want to click on show advanced settings. Our row separator will be other, and the separator is just going to be a comma. Nothing else, no white space, no nothing, just a comma. And now for our text value, we're going to do an open bracket quotation, and then I want the value from that, and then quotes, comma, quotes. And then I need the language, quotes, comma, quotes, the location, quotes, comma, quotes. And then I want to pull the status, quotes, comma, quotes. Oh, wait, I don't need quotes, comma, quotes. And then we'll just close it with a close bracket. So then we'll just hit save. And then I'm going to go ahead and run this just to make sure everything's working properly. And yes, it's going to keep yelling at me. So as you can see here, it pulled all my subtopics. And now I want to iterate them because I want them to all be their own bundle, because I want these to be separate. And then as you can see, this here basically created a giant file for API. Now, of course, if you want to keep this clean, let's just go ahead and rename this to generate sub. We'll do the first sub topics because we're going to have a lot of things going on here. And then we'll rename this one to get subtopics. Iterator's an iterator, don't care. And then this here is going to create file Google API. And then the next thing we're going to do is we need to add a new spreadsheet based on our new keyword. Because right now, you know, we don't have any spreadsheets for these keywords. We want to create a new spreadsheet. So what we're going to do is click this, go to Google Sheets, and then go to create or add a sheet. Okay, I'm not creating a new spreadsheet. I don't want to create a brand new spreadsheet. I just want to add a sheet to this. So we want to add another sheet, kind of like I did on this one, where it added this sheet. Because I don't want like 19 spreadsheets. I just want it all in one easy to find location. So we're going to add a sheet. Now, the nice thing is, make sure your connection is correct. You're on the right Google connection. But for the spreadsheet ID, oh, I actually have to find it. So this is under content machine v2. And I want the title of the spreadsheet to be my original keyword from the initial spreadsheet. So from this spreadsheet here, because like I said, if you hover over it, you can see that it's pulsing. But that's what I want my spreadsheet to be called. And now for this to work correctly though, I need to go ahead and create this sheet once so I get the data, and then I'm gonna have to delete the sheet and start over. So let's just go ahead and run this module only. And the keyword doesn't really matter, but I'll just put digital cameras. Then I'll hit OK. So it's going to run this real quick and it's going to create a spreadsheet for me. Now, all I wanted was the data. I don't need to use this again. But if we go to my content machine, you can see I now have a sheet called digital cameras. But go ahead and delete that. Because now I have the data I need for the next part of this, which is making the API call to bulk upload all of it. So we'll go to Google Sheets again. And then if you go all the way to the bottom, we'll make an API call. Make sure you're connected. And then our URL is basically going to be spreadsheets and slash. And then I need the ID of the spreadsheet. Now I'm using this spreadsheet here. And I mean, this is the ID, is this long monstrosity. But since I've already pulled the ID from the initial, from this here, I can actually just use make. So see, here's the spreadsheet ID. So I can just click that. We'll do spreadsheet ID and then slash values and then slash. And now I need the spreadsheet the new spreadsheet name. And so we're just going to use single quotes. And if we go here to this add a sheet that we just created, go all the way down here, here's the title for the new spreadsheet. So we're just going to click title and then close it with a single quote. And then you need an explanation point, and then capital A to Z, and then A, P, P, E, and then append. I know that's hard to read. But basically that here will create our new spreadsheet and append to it. Then of course we want to use the post method. So it actually posts to it. You want to keep the content type JSON because we're sending it a JSON file. In the query string here, we will have to add, so it has to be written just like this: value, capital I, capital O, and then this is going to be all capitals, user entered. And then I'm just going to copy my body from the other one. I will leave this down below though for you guys. But basically what we're going to do is we're creating a brand new spreadsheet that's going to fill it with the first initial topics. So if we go here again, we're basically creating this part of the spreadsheet and that's it. So I need all these headers at the top and it's going to fill just this first information in. So to do that correctly, the values, you're going to do quotation marks, values, quotation, colon, and you do 2 open brackets. Then we want subtopics because that's the original one, the language, location, status. I do subseed because when we start creating the second ones, and then of course I want FAQ. And then your text here is going to be the text from this aggregator. And then you're just going to close it with a bracket and that doohickey right there. And then we're just going to hit OK. And the next thing I want to do is actually update the initial spreadsheet so that way it doesn't pull it again. So we'll just go to Google Sheets and then we're going to update a row. Make sure you're on the right path. You want to choose the spreadsheet ID, which is content machine. And of course, the sheet name is keywords. Now for the row number, we'll just go to our original spreadsheet pool here and you see it says row number 3. But we're, if we run this again, we just want it to keep using whatever row number that's on. So that's all we're going to do on there. And then we want to update the status. The status is going to update to done. And then I like to put a timestamp just to know when I did it. So if we go up here to the little calendar and just put now, so now it'll timestamp it. So now when we know when this was last run for informational purposes. And then the last thing we're going to do is create another variable for the new sheet name. Because like I said, we're going to create more categories, but we can't pull the sheet name unless we have the variable. So we'll just go here. You just go to tools and then we're going to set a variable. So if you just go to set variable, and we're going to call this new sheet name. And then our variable is going to be the new sheet that we just created, which is this here. So we'll just go down, go down. So there's our new title. This will make more sense once we get to the next part. So that is the first part of this monstrosity. So we're creating our subtopics. We're getting the subtopics. Let's go ahead and rename this. So this is going to be add new sheet based on keyword. And then this here is going to add data to new sheet. And then this one here, update sheet to done. And this is going to set the new sheet name. So that is phase one. And make sure you're saving, because if you don't save it and something happens, you lose all your information, you're going to be really ticked off. So that is the first step in this process. And so the next thing we need to do is add a router in between here. So we'll just go here, move this one out of the way. And if you just right click on this, you can add a router. After you add the router, go to the middle of it, push the button, you'll get a new one of these. Go ahead and align this just so it looks pretty. And now the next thing we want to do is pull this variable to this next row. So we'll just go to tools and we're going to get the variable. So we're going to get variable, and our variable name is this. So if we copy that, then go here and then paste and save, beat that. And so now we need to pull our new sheet. So we're going to go to Google Sheets and we're going to search rows. Make sure your connection is correct. And then the spreadsheet ID is the content machine. And now our sheet name, because right now we only have keywords, right? I can't post to that new sheet name because it doesn't exist yet. So you actually want to click on map, and then it'll give you this option, hello. And we want to map it. Well, that's why we set this variable to tools name, because as you can see, all I can see in this row now is this variable and this Google Sheet. I can't see anything that's in this first row. So that's why we created the new variable. And then of course you want to do data. But then here, even though it's not populated yet, I already know that our filter is going to be D. And it's going to be equal to pending. Now, just so I don't lose you guys. So what I'm doing, if we look at the sheet that I created, so these are actually all going to say pending. They're not going to say done. Okay, so these are the first ones. They're all going to say pending. So what I want to do is pull this first one, and then it's going to pull the second one, and then the third one. But like I said, these will all say pending. But right now we can't do that because we don't have the spreadsheet. And then also, we don't know how many subtopics we're going to get, but I want to run all of them. So you can make this, like I said, the first time we ran it, we actually got 15. I mean, normally you're going to get 10, but we got 15 the first time. So you can set this to anything. Just to be safe, I'm going to set it to like 30. You can set it to like 20 because, like I said, you're supposed to get 10, but you could get more. So it's okay to add more because it's only going to pull the ones that say pending anyways. So we're going to save that. And now this is where it's going to get ugly because we actually need to pull the new information. So we're actually going to have to run this to be able to pull this. So if we save this and go ahead and give it a test run, give me a second here while we make sure. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. Now it is going to override my data here, so I will have to update all of this. But let's go ahead and run this because I need the data from this to create the next section. So let's just save it and run it. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so as you can see here, what it did is it took our digital cameras, it created this. And now, as you can see here, now we have subtopics. And then this time it only gave me 10. That sucks. It gave me 15 the first time. But it added the new spreadsheet. It gave me all this. Voila. And then, like I said, we created a new spreadsheet. And it was called Digital Cameras, which then updated the API. And then we updated our spreadsheet, and then we gave it the new variable name. See, as you can see, it gave it sheet name digital cameras. So then when it ran through the second route here, you can see it pulled the sheet name digital cameras, which then pulled the actual digital cameras from here. And it gave me all of these as separate bundles. So now we have 5 bundles, you know, the history of digital cameras, how digital cameras work, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is we actually need to pull all these, and these are collections. These are not arrays. So that's why we have to use the array aggregator. And of course, that is right here, but you can also go to flow control and then array aggregator, because we want to turn these into an array. Now, of course, we're going to use this as our source. So we'll just go to Google Sheets, and this is number 12. So you can see 12. This is 12. So that's what we want. We're going to do custom thing. Okay, so to set up this array aggregator, we're going to pick Google Sheets, which is this one. And then whatever you don't select will not get passed through to the rest of this, but we don't need all that. So all I pull is the row number, the spreadsheet, the sheet, and then of course we didn't pull the names of the sheet yet because we haven't run it, but this is basically column A, B, C, D, E, and F. So I'm pulling all A, B, C, D, and F, and that's all we need. So we'll hit save. Save. Yes. And now the nice thing is, well, now we have to add an iterator because now we need to iterate those. So if we just open this, the iterator is right here, but you can also go to flow control and click iterator. And then all we need to do is put this array in there. Now there's no data in here yet, but we know this will all be filled out. And we want to iterate through all 10 of these because we have 1, 2, as you can see, there's 10. And so this will iterate between all of those. So we just want to put the array and then hit save. Now this is where it becomes a tad bit easier, because now we're basically just going to copy like this up here to add to this. So if we go to our first module, we go to this module right here that generate the first subtopics, right click and clone. And then we're just going to drag it into this. And then all we need to do here, it's going to use the same thing, the post, but we need to change the keywords now. And now we know the keyword is going to be this A. Because if we go back to our spreadsheet, the keyword is A. These are all the keywords that I want to pass to create the next subtopic, right? Right. So we'll go between the 2 quotes here and then just click A, because that's all we need. Parse the response. And of course, don't forget to add your name and password. And just to make this easier, let's just rename this to generate next batch of subtopics. And then of course we need to get the subtopics. So we'll clone this variable and bring you in here. Now the only problem is we need to update this, but since we haven't run it, nothing shows up. So we actually need to run this to get this data. So we already know that it's going to pull this first one here. So the history of digital cameras. So we'll copy that. And then we'll right click on this, run this module only, and add the history of digital cameras. Give it a second. Make sure it actually returns something. So it just gave me 10 more subtopics. Awesome. So once again, we're just going to delete this. So we know it's under tasks, then it's results, then it's under the subtopics. So we'll just click on subtopics. Don't click on the one, just click on the subtopics and then hit save. And now for this to run correctly, we need to pull all these subtopics, which once again, we're basically just copying this up here. We're copying this again. So we need to add another iterator, which I'll just use this one. And then our array is going to be this subtopics here. And then we'll save that. And now for the next thing, and we can't use this one and clone it because it's using different values, but it's going to be the same basic setup. So we're going to go to tools and text. And then of course we want our subtopic. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and pick all of it. Show advanced settings, row separator, other. Our separator is a comma. Now, I don't know if I'm going to have all the data, so I might have to run this again. It didn't give me all the data. So we're going to have to run this again, unfortunately. So I don't think I can run this separately because I don't have all my subtopics. And I can't just post that. So if we unlink this, and I'm going to have to hard code this for now. Yeah, so what we're actually going to have to do is unlink this. And we're going to have to set a variable. And we'll just call this new sheet name. And we already know what the variable is going to be, so I'm just going to hard code it. Digital cameras, and then save. So now this is going to pull, we need to add sheet name, save. Oh, that's not going to work. So we're just going to unlink this. And I'm just going to pull this into here because I just need this row to run without any other gibberish in the way. So let's just go ahead and run this. I might have messed up. We'll see. Okay. Oh, and as you can see, now it's iterating. Okay, so now we should have all the data that we need to generate this file. Hold your horses. Okay, so we're going to create an open bracket, comma, and then all I want is the value from this iterator. Now this is going to get a little confusing here, so bear with me. So what I'm doing is pulling this value from this. So if we look at this, all I want is this keyword, right? But to fill our spreadsheet out, I actually need this information. I need the English, the status, and the pending. And plus I want the original topic that it created. So we're pulling the value from this iterator. And then we're going to do quotes, comma, quotes. And then I need, if we just look at our spreadsheet, so what it's going to do is put that there. So then I need language, status, subseed. So then I need language, which is B, in quotes, comma, quotes. Next will be the location, which is C, and then quotes, comma, quotes. And then status, pending, quotes, comma, quotes. And now for the next subject here. So now it's going to fill this out using the subtopics created on this, but I want the subseed to fill this in. So that way I know that this next data was actually from this subtopic. Hope that makes sense. I mean, if I go back here, you can see how I created these where it says sub of this. So that's basically what we're doing. So this next one here, I'm just going to hard code sub. And then we're going to pull the original name, which is from this iterator, not this one. So it's going to be this right here. And then we're just going to quotes and then close it. Make sure that's all good. We'll hit save. And then we're basically going to make an API call. So we'll just grab this one here and clone it and move it here. And now this is going to get confusing because I have this set up this way to run this one. So we're going to have to probably modify this. Yeah, because I don't even have the original spreadsheet ID, and then I'm going to need the new sheet name. But all I really want, though, is to add the values to this. So all we have to do is go to this first closed bracket and then delete all of this. Pull the text in, and then obviously we need to re-update that with this text. And then we can just close it so it'll look just like that. And so we'll hit save. And then the next thing I need to do is update. We need to update the other sheet. So this one's going to be a little more complicated. And once again, I don't know if I can do this correctly because I think we're going to have to run the sheet again. Because now we want to update this to done. So what we're going to do is make another API call. So we'll go to Google Sheets and then scroll all the way to the bottom, make an API call. Make sure you're set up correctly. I am just going to pull all this in from my other one. So that way, at least I have the information, even though I don't have it correct yet. We're going to do a post. I'm going to fix this in a minute. Don't worry. Of course, for the query string, we're going to do the value input option again. And we're going to do user entered. And then for the values, I'm just going to do the same thing, but instead I'm just going to hard code it as done. And of course, everything's broken, so that's cool. And so all I'm doing with this call is that we're changing these to done. So if we look at this other spreadsheet, see how these all say done? That's basically what we're doing. So then it can move on to the next part. Now to save ourselves some anguish here, let's go ahead and move the clock back. We need to add the router again. So that's 1, that's 2. Actually, I need to get rid of this. And then put you back in here. And so this should still be updated. I think I need to change this. Yes. So we'll make that the new sheet name, which is digital cameras. It'll pull all of that. That's fine. That'll pull the array. That pulls the next batch. There was something along here I needed to update. Oh yeah, the API call. Okay, so now it's actually pulling the right spreadsheet ID. So once again, we just go back to the very first spreadsheet here, and we're using this as our ID. But then we need the sheet name. So as you can see, we just need to get rid of this. Come on. We'll just delete that. So in between the two single quotes, we're going to add the sheet name. Then once again, it's going to append it. And then for this part, so it pulls the right sheet, but now we need to add the sheet name again. So in between the solid quotes, we're going to add the sheet name. And then we need to add the row number, which we need to pull from this iterator. So if I just close this, we're just going to delete that and see we're picking D because that's what column we need to update is the D column. So we need to change these to pending, or to done from pending. So it's D. And if we go to the original, row number. So you can see it's pulling that row number from this iterator. We're not pulling from this one because this one doesn't have the row number. See, this just has my values, but this here actually has the row number. So that way it'll update whatever row, because this is going to go through 10 times. This is where a lot of your operations are going to start racking up, but it's going to go through this 10 times. And then every time it's going to update the next sheet. So now if we save this, yeah, we're probably going to have to hard code this again. Do the next row. We'll align it. Let's save it. And let's go ahead and delete this spreadsheet because it's going to break if we don't. So let's delete that. And then also we need to change this back to pending. So it'll pull this one here. Let's hit save. Let me just double check one more thing. I think we're good. All right, let's save it again just to be safe. Let's make sure we're actually pulling the correct thing. So it's pulling digital cameras. All right, and let's just let this run and let's watch it run and see what happens. So it generated the first subtopics, created my new spreadsheet, which looks like this, and I screwed up something. So it started to work and then I screwed it up. So let's see what we did. So it should just be values. Should be no other. Oh. So for this one, it is not post. It's actually put, because we're updating it. We're not post. We're not doing an append. We're putting. We have to use put. I made this mistake before, but we changed that to put, and then we need to go back to this spreadsheet. And unfortunately, we have to delete this again and then hit OK. And then change this back to pending. So once again, we don't have any spreadsheets in there. Save. And then we're going to run it. As you can see, it added our new spreadsheet. So it created that. And now it's pulling our subtopics. As you can see, it changed that to done. Then it's changing that to done. And it's creating subtopics based on all of this. Why'd we stop? Of course, this does happen every once in a while, where it might take a minute to register this. I'll come back when it's done. Okay, so that finally finished running. So now, as you can see, our spreadsheet now is filled with a ton of posts. We have 141 posts now on here, which is awesome. And so now what we need to do is create the next section, which is the people also ask. So you can create your, now if you wanted to stop right here, you could. I mean, that's plenty of posts, you know, if you wanted to just start there. But I want also, like on this one here, we have the people also ask, because we know these are relevant questions that people are actually asking on the Googles. So to create the next one, so it's almost, so I think what I'm going to do, instead of trying to do it like I did last time where we added the route, let's just go ahead and get a new module. And it's going to be a tool. And let's just go ahead and set the variable. And now it's going to give you this error. And all we have to do is grab this little clock. So if we grab the little clock here, you can see we can move it and just add it to this one. And so what we're going to call this is that new sheet name. And then once again, I'm just going to hard code it for now because it's a lot easier that way. Digital camera. There's an S on there, right? Digital cameras. Yes. And so we'll save that. And the first thing we need to do is add a Google Sheet again. So we're going to add a Google Sheet, and we're going to go to search rows, and then make sure your connection's on the right connection. And then our spreadsheet name is the content machine. And then our sheet name, we have to click the map. Don't forget to click the map part here. And then our sheet name, we're going to hard code it with this for now. We'll have to change it once we get it set up with everything again. And then once again, the A to Z is fine. And our filter again is going to be D. And we want it to equal done this time. So the reason why you're probably asking that is so now what we want is the people also ask for this and this. And as you can see, it already says done. So I want to pull just these. I don't want to pull all of these. I mean, we could, but I just want to pull these first, these 10. So we know column D is done. So we want column D done. And now, once again, we're going to get anywhere. I mean, like I said, the first time I ran this, we got 15. You know, it'll give you random numbers. I mean, it says it'll give you 10 when you look at the API documents, but you saw how one time I got 15. So what I like to do, just to make sure we don't miss any, is just set it again for like 40 or something. It's only going to pull the ones that have done on it anyway, so it doesn't matter. You can make this 1,000. It's fine. But now we're going to do the people also ask request from DataForSEO. So we need to make another request. So we go to HTTP, and then we just want to make a request. And the URL is going to be this URL. And then, of course, we want to do a post. And then our body type will be raw. Content type will be JSON. And then I am just going to copy this in here. So we're going to copy that. And then make sure we parse the response. And now, once again, you're going to have to go to advanced settings here and add your username and password in here. Okay, I'm going to do that off camera, but we need to add those two things in there. And so our keyword, hello, is going to be A, right? So we need keyword, location, and language. So once again, we need keyword, language, location. So it's A, B, and C. So keyword, we know is going to be A. Location is going to be B. I mean, right now it's not filled out, but we already know that that's what's going to be. So that's going to be C. And then the people also ask click depth. Now, like I said, you can make this 1 to 4, but 4 will get you everything. Now, you will get duplicates, and I'll show you how to get rid of those. But if you just do 1, you might only get 3 or 4 responses. And like I said, if we look at our last one here, you can see how I got tons of responses. I mean, like this first topic, we got 15 responses. This one gave us 15, etc. That one's 15. But I did have to delete a few of these because you will get the same ones because these are very closely related. But like I said, I'll show you how to do that. Don't worry. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me put my password in. Okay, so now that we have this done and I put my password in, now, once again, we're just going to do another iterator, but I need the information so I know what to iterate, because right now it's not going to give me the information I need. So also to save us on some time here, let's just do 2 for now. Save. We'll go ahead and run that, which, like I said, we're just hard coding the name in there. So that way we get the 2 bundles. So this is how this is that. Then if we look at the information we got from here, So actually this did not pull any. Oh, it says there's an error. Oh, I screwed this up. Okay, so location is location and language is English. So keyword is obviously line A is keyword. Location name has got to be your location, United States. And you have to have at least these three when you're doing this. And then language name is English. So let's save that again, save that again. I actually need data this time, please. Because basically all we're going to do now is iterate these just kind of like we did with the subtopics. All right, so let's go ahead and add the iterator. And the array is going to be tasks, results, and I think it's just items. Yes, items, right? And then we'll hit save. And now we actually need to set up a filter, because if we look at these operations at the data that was sent back, you can see like this one's organic. The other one, you know, these are not the items that we wanted. All we want is people also ask. So as you can see, as I go through here, this is organic. That's organic. It usually is like the first or second one that comes up with the right stuff. So that's the featured snippet. Here it is. People also ask. Ooh, we got a whole bunch of words. So this is the information that we want. This is the information that we want. So what we need to do is add another iterator. And this iterator is just going to be the items, which is this here. This is what we want. So we'll just click on this items here. Save. And now we need to set up our filter in between the two, because we don't want all that information. We just want the people also ask. So we're going to label this people so ask. And now for this condition, we need to go to items and then this type. See how this one says perspective elements? Check that. We want to go here. So the third one down that says type, related searches, we want that. And then I also know that it's going to be people underscore also underscore ask. So that's how we set up our filter for this. So once again, if I go here and we click on this and go to data, tasks, collections, results, collections, blah, 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 items, there's a whole bunch of stuff. So see, this is what we need. People also ask. We don't want featured snippets. We don't want organic. We want, where'd it go? What am I doing? There we go. So I just want this. People also ask. So that way it's only going to pull this information. You know, how do you get pictures from a digital camera? Do digital cameras connect to your phone? You know, these are the questions I actually want. And then once again, we are going to create our file to, well, let me just go ahead and run this, because I know that there's going to be some people also ask stuff. So we'll see it get filtered out. So let's go ahead and run it real quick. And hopefully I set the filter up correctly. And as you can see here, it actually did pull the right stuff. Oh, it actually got me 2 of them. So you can see people also ask. So this is what it's pulling in. See, people also ask. People also ask. So it's pulling in all those awesome keywords for us. And so now we need to create the file again, which of course is a text aggregator. So tools, text aggregator. And our source module will be iterator 29. It'll be this iterator, not that one. And then advanced options, separator will be other. Separator is a comma. And then this here. So now we need to fill out the new spreadsheet, or the spreadsheet with the new information down here. So we want the keyword, and then we don't care about this stuff. But then I like to add what this is. And then of course I want to add the subtopic. Okay. So like this one, see, I have, here's that, then it's blank. And then it's people also ask and the subtopic. So we're going to set that up the same way as that one. So the way we're going to do that, once again, we're going to do an open bracket, quotations, and then I want the title. That's interesting. And then once again, comma, or quotes, comma, quotes. And then once again, we need 3 empty strings because we do not want language. So we need to put 3 empty strings here to create the next line. So we'll just put quotes. We'll go up to this A. We'll do empty string and then quotes, comma, quotes, and then empty string and then quotes, comma, quotes, and then empty string and then quotes, comma. And then the next thing we want is I want to make the next one people also ask. So it's going to be quotes. And then we're just going to hard code it. People also ask. You could put anything you want here. And then I want the original keyword. So we'll do quotes. Go back to the star. And so I want the original keyword that it based this off of, which is history of digital cameras. So we'll just do A and then do a quotes and then close it off with a closed bracket. And then hit save. I really hope my filter worked. Okay, it did. So you can see it skipped all these other bundles. It only pulled that bundle. There's probably another green one down here somewhere. Yep, there's the other green one. So it's only pulling that information. I don't know why it showed different on here, though. That was weird. That information's not there. I mean, I am pulling from the right one, right? Yep. We want to make sure that this one here is pulling from iterator 29, which is this right here. And then we just want the title. Anyways. And so now we're going to have to make another API call to our spreadsheet, which to save us some time, I think this one will be just fine. Yep. So we'll just clone this one, pull it down here. And we're going to have to update this quite a few times because right now I have it set up as its own thing. So the spreadsheet ID, we're going to pull from the spreadsheet. So spreadsheet ID, and then the sheet name is going to be, well, we already know it's digital cameras because I have it hard coded. So I'm just going to click in that for now. Post JSON. We'll go down to this text here. Delete that and go back to this text because that's the text we want. Save. And just to make sure this is running correctly, let's go ahead and test it again. So right now you can see on my spreadsheet here that we don't have anything about people also ask. So it's going to pull this first one here. Well, it's going to pull both of these, 1 and 2, and give me people also ask. Let's go ahead and run this and hopefully it doesn't break. So let's go back to our spreadsheet. So now if we go down to the bottom here, now we have people also ask. Yes. And once again, I have it set up with, this is the original subtopic. People also ask. Did digital cameras exist in 20,000? Yes, they did. They had vision. Yes. Why did Kodak fail? I'm a photographer, so this stuff's funny. Do digital cameras need the internet? You need Wi-Fi? Let's see now, once again, these are all relevant questions that are based off of Google search. So if we go like this, and let's just go to Google real quick. And so if I Google the history of digital cameras, so the first question, when did digital cameras start? When did digital cameras start? When was the first real digital camera? When was the first real digital camera? Did digital cameras exist in 2000? As you can see, it's pulling the actual data from Google. And then once again, if we click on this, we just keep clicking, it'll keep giving me more and more. Who is the father of the digital camera? Is that on here? Eh. But like I said, as you can see, when did digital cameras start? Digital cameras this, digital come out in the 70s. You know, all of that is here. Who pioneered? Why did Kodak fail? Now, when it gets past, now the only thing with this people ask stuff, I think it depends on what you click first. Depends on what it fills out down here. Because like, I don't think some of these are on there. So if I click on it again, does Kodak still exist? Or Kodak. But anyways, as you can see, the first ones that come up though were on here. Why did digital cameras start? What was the real digital camera? Digital cameras exist in 2000. As you can see, those are the first ones. So that's why this is extremely powerful and why this is really awesome. So now we pretty much have this correct. But what we need to do is fix this so this router actually works. So what I'm going to do is unlink this, which is going to break everything. We're going to add a third doohickey here. We're just going to use this because we already know it's set up correctly. So we'll just clone this and bring you down here and delete this and then add you to that. And we don't need you anymore. Going to complain. Oh, I saw the clock on it. Move the clock back to the sheets. Delete. Let's go ahead and align this. And now we need to fix all of our broken stuff because now we know the sheet name is correct. So this sheet, that's going to be this. Also, we need to change this limit because right now I was only pulling the first two. Right? Yeah, I was only pulling these first two. So once again, we probably have to set this up in a way where it pulls once again, you don't know how many this is going to pull. Like I said, it did 15, then it does 10. So to be safe, let's just make this 40 and then save. And then everything else should be, I don't think anything else is going to break. Do I have to change that? Well, no, because when this loads, this will show me the spreadsheet. Yep, there's the sheet. There's the sheet ID. So everything is correct. So if we save that. So once again, let me just double check. So that's 40. That's 30. Doesn't matter. And that, my friends, is the entire spreadsheet. Now, to make sure this actually works correctly, we'll go back to this, and then I'm going to delete this again. So now we just have our keyword. We need to put this back to pending. So now that's on pending. We're going to do digital cameras, and let's blast this spreadsheet. And then I'm going to show you how to remove the duplicate. So this is going to take a minute. So let me go ahead and run this, and then I'll be right back. go ahead and run it. Okay, let's try again. Are we recording? So we'll go to format, conditional formatting. We want a custom formula. Oh, I know what I did wrong. So you need to highlight the whole thing. Okay, so let's just highlight this. Go to format, conditional formatting. And we want a custom formula is this. And then we'll hit done. And so now we can see the duplicates. And so, like I said, a lot of these, especially down here, will usually copy each other. Now, I don't like to delete these up here first. So what I always do is go to the bottom first. And then, okay, what does ISO stand for? So we'll just delete that. What does SLR stand for? We'll delete that. And then as you delete these from the bottom up, it'll get rid of the other duplicates. And then see now, oop. Yeah, so that one is a duplicate. So we'll delete that. And then future trends, we'll just delete that. And so now we have no duplication. So we're still left with 266 posts that we can use. Now, the other thing I will tell you though is sometimes it'll do this types of digital cameras, but still, once again, this is not bad data to have. I mean, you probably can't make a post on that, but you could create content on that. Because if we go down here to types of digital cameras, we actually have really good FAQ questions that as a photographer, I get asked these all the time. You know, what is a DSLR? Is DSLR or mirrorless better? What is the difference between a DSLR and an SLR? You know, and if you don't know, that's single lens reflex, and that's a digital single lens reflex. ISO, what does P mean on a camera? That's P mode, which is like automatic mode. You know, is an iPhone a good camera as an SLR? No, it's not. That's a loaded question. What is the best camera for photography? Oof. But yeah, as you can see here, though, we now have, and of course, I would go through these though, because some of these might be just completely out of control. Like, what is an EV digital camera? I'd probably get rid of that. Is AI a threat to photography? That's actually a good one. But before I would send this out to somebody, or before you just start posting content on this stuff, you know, like, what age is Gen Alpha? What camera does Kendall Jenner use? But like, I would delete this. But yeah, I mean, I would go through here. Why is GZN obsessed with digital cameras? That's funny. What is the number one camera? Yeah, I would go through here though and really double check all these. But once again, we're still left with 265 posts now. And once again, if you wanted to make this absolutely crazy, we would basically, just copy all these again and make another row. So it looks like this. And then this basically just repeats this. So then what it'll do is take each one of these pending or subtopics. So it'll start with this and it'll create subcategories based just on this. So it'll create another 10 categories. And then it'll do the people also search, which could give you another 10 to 20 categories. So just on these subtopics alone, we have 111. So if we have 111 and we times that by, say, another 20 posts, 2,000 posts already on top of the 265 that we got. But once again, this is extremely heavy usage, right? So if we go back to this real quick, I just want to show you. Where did it go? Where's my history? There we go. So here's the history. So we just ran this. It took 2 minutes and it was 125 scenario runs. So, I mean, just doing this, I've already used 311 operations. So this is a very heavy heavy usage. So if that was 311, you can imagine how many this is going to be, because that's basically going to 10 times here. So, I mean, you could spend 3,000 operations on this. So be careful, especially if you had this next part. But for most people, this is more than enough to get started. This is enough to create and start a blog. I mean, there's 265 posts. And also, I want to show you actual costs. So if we go to data for SEO, and if we go to just today, what is today? January 29th. So just today, I have spent 4 cents. So even though I ran that all that time, doing all that testing, I spent 0.046 cents. So everything we just did, all that testing, all that stuff, like I said, I mean, look how many times I've ran this. I've ran this 311 times today, and it's making one. So we got 1, 2, 3, making that API call 10 times. It makes this one once, but then it does this one 10 times, and it does this one 10 times. It does this one once and pulls all the information, but this one runs 10 times. So we're making a lot of API calls. And as you can see, so we used the SERP API. So if I go to usage, go to SERP. So like I said, here you can see my actual data from today. And you can see each one of these. I'm going to show you the actual number. So each one of these searches, like here's that search here, it cost 0.026 cents. And the nice thing is I can actually click on the results. Oh, I don't want to do that. Go to metadata. So you can see here's what I actually sent it. Like I said, 0.026 cents. Now we did use the content generator. And I want to show you how expensive this is. So this is today. These are all today. And as you can see, each one of these 0001. So it's costing me, I don't even know how many pennies that is. It's not even a penny. It cost me 0.0038 cents to run all that today. Then of course we did use the SERP, which cost me 4 cents. So once again, if we go to the dashboard, I just go to today, you can see I spent 4 cents. Now, obviously, make is a little more expensive. So it costs, so if we take 10,000 divided by, I think it's $9 a month. So each run of this operation costs that 0.0009. So we just ran 300 times 0.0009. So 27 cents plus 4 cents. $0.31, as opposed to $139 a month plus $60 for the content marketing guru thing on here. So yeah, if you have any questions, I will try to link this down below. I'll have to figure out how to save this properly so you don't get all my API keys and all that. But yeah, so there you go. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.